sniffing my face. So we have 2 special guests today. Well, we have Luca, who's not all that special.
She's special.
She's
so
special. But more special than Luca for today's episode of What We Missed. We have Andy.
Thank you, ladies, for having me.
Yes.
To quote Halle Berry's Oscar speech, this moment is so much bigger than me.
There was a story you wanted to write this week that you were not able to.
The Oscars are on Sunday, and what I wanted to write about today are the 11 things that I won't miss about it, because we cover it very heavily on Celebuzz. But really, it was just an excuse to talk about Anne Hathaway, who I realized very recently that I don't like. I loved her, in the beginning of her career, Rachel getting married, I would have given her an Oscar for that.
Me too.
Yes.
Loved her in that.
But then she started accepting awards.
I would say that I have taken the position of disliking her since she opened her mouth to accept that very first award this season and was incredibly breathless. And I was like, grab the girl and inhale her.
Yes.
What's going on? And she has continued that pattern throughout every award.
Because we have to remember that all of these famous actors at one point were just theater geeks that hung out in the theater room during lunch, and she's been practicing for this moment since then.
If she's been practicing so much, she'd just be better at it.
I met her at a party once, and she walked up to me, a nobody, and said, "Hi, I'm Annie." So
Really?
I basically,
Really?
I judge people based on how polite they are, and she's a nice girl. So.
If she goes up there and she wins and she actually is not breathless and doesn't do the shocked face and actually is funny and doesn't accidentally insult someone, I'll be back on the Anne Hathaway train. Exactly. She could be back. All right, Jessica, what did you want to talk about today?
Well, I wanted to write about how I recently took Plan B. It's the morning after pill.
You took it for the first time?
I took Plan B for the first time.
Is it supposed to just kickstart your period? I mean, I've taken it before too, years ago, and I can't even remember why. What the situation was.
Flashback.
We need to talk.
Yeah, kickstart your period, makes you feel a little nauseous.
Yeah,
it's not the funnest thing in the world.
But you know what's less fun? A baby.
Yes.
Or an abortion. Or an abortion.
A little. Thank God it exists, because I think that, women that are concerned about being pregnant, the more worried you are, the more stressed you are, the less regular your period's going to be, the more you're going to freak out. It's just it's an avalanche. So to have something like that around, which again, it's not 100%. I've definitely had friends that have taken Plan B and still gotten pregnant.
Thanks for telling me that.
Sorry.
So what about you, Julie? What did you want to talk about?
Well, I wanted to talk about something that is totally not really newsy at all, but I've noticed lately, especially because I've been sharing a lot of music with Rachel, who is a bit younger than me, that I know, that I've been in a total nostalgic K-hole musically, and I'm I generally I like to listen to a lot of different kinds of things, but lately I've been listening to strictly records that are probably 20 years old, and it's making me think about how growing up, my parents, I always was my parents are so uncool, all their music taste stopped evolving in 1978. And I'm now becoming them.
Me and I think Rachel, our musical landscape was
God awful.
Spice Girls, Hanson, Backstreet Boys.
Yeah.
So I feel
Matchbox.
no nostalgia whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel...
This is the thing. Most music, even bad music, there comes a point where people are nostalgic for it. So, I never would have thought that people would be nostalgic for boy bands, but, look at it now. I never would have thought I would be remember when NSYNC all dressed up in, white snowsuits and had goggles on their heads even though they weren't skiing? I know. Well, thanks you guys. Thank you to Andy from Celebuzz for coming and sharing his Anne Hathaway hate with us.
I learned a lot today. This was very informative.
Thanks again, everybody, and please leave your comments on these stories in our comment section. And we'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.